Welcome back, everyone. It's Professor Thomas. We are now in week number 3, Genius Mapping Exercise. It's problems 31 through 40. We're going to go in this next little video here. We're going to go 31 through 35. So let's get started with the answers. First things first, we talked about this particular passage here. We genius mapped this out in the previous video talking about island syndrome. Small pieces of land set aside by the government can only hold so many animals in there, and because there's such few animals in the refuge, higher chances for those animals to go extinct. Let's take a look at the answers here, starting with practice problem 31. 31 says, throughout the passage, the author uses the term island to describe a tract of land that is, well, we already know an island is a small piece of land. Scooby-Doo for an island is island that is isolated. It's isolated away from everything else. 31, the correct answer here. Using the Scooby-Doo technique, D would be the answer for 31. On to 32. 32 says, as he reveals himself throughout the information presented in this passage, the author can best be described as. The author here, we want to know about the author's attitude. When you come over here, you take a look at what you wrote next to each paragraph topic sentence. Negative, it looks like the author is negative in all the passages, so that means if there's an answer choice that is positive, you can go ahead and cross that out. In answer choice J, it says the author is confident. Nope, that is definitely wrong. So when you come over here, you take a look at what the author thinks here. The author is talking about, hey, whenever you set aside a piece of land that's isolated for particular reasons of creating a habitat for animals, there's a higher chance for those animals to go extinct than just letting them roam around in the wilderness. So is the author angry? No, that's off the tone. We're left with the two answer choices that are closest, G and H. I want to take a look at H first. The correct answer in this case is indeed G, but let's take a look at H first. H says the author is fearful that overpopulation of one animal, it's off the topic. So H is going to be out. Take a look at G. The author is concerned about saving species of animals from extinction. That's the central theme for the whole passage, and therefore G will be the correct answer for practice problem number 32. Let's move on to 33. 33 reads, according to the passage, what is the main reason Yellowstone currently supports only 300 or 400 grizzlies? First things first, it's a mystery question. Mystery questions, you have to pick out a key word in the paragraph, in the question stem, and then finger scan and have your fingers move left to right, right to left, top to bottom. Find that word in the passage, because remember, the two only things that we need to do for ACT reading are locate the particular detail and then reword the detail into the correct answer. So, starting from the beginning here, first thing, we label this question mystery. Mystery, we pick a key word. In this particular case, we pick out grizzlies. Now, we go ahead and finger scan for grizzlies and see where that comes from. Go back up to the top of the passage here. You take your finger and you go left to right, right to left, and say the word grizzly, grizzly, grizzlies, 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 grizzlies. Keep going left to right, right to left, all the way until you find that. You see that we found the word grizzlies over here. Grizzly bear is on line 67. And you notice that we had circled the word but previously. The reason that we circle the word but is because this is called a flip-flopper. That means that this sentence and this sentence will go opposite of each other. ACT knows that kids are lazy and kids read very passively, and they don't acknowledge the fact that the word but means opposite, that they're making a shift in the change direction of the writing. So they use this against you. So we finger scan, we find the word grizzlies, we see the word but next to it. We go ahead and put a circle around the word but, and we know that the word but is going to have a heck of a lot to do with finding the right answer. Here's what it says. Grizzly bears with its big territory demands and small populations is at risk. So they're saying here, because grizzly bears have demands of large areas, that puts them at greater risk. So look for an answer that says the same thing as that. Each bear requires a large amount of territory. That's an easy Scooby-Doo for the same thing that is in the passage. Now, be careful. Whenever they give you numbers like this, that is a little bit too easy for you to find. If you come up over here, and I think I saw something about 200 or 300 over here. If you finger scanned and you found this area here, it says both Yellowstone and the Tetons portions, 7 national forests, there are no more than 300 or 400 grizzly bears isolated in the population elsewhere. Blah, 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 blah. This doesn't really lead you to the right answer. So if you come over here, you read this, you find 300 or 400, and you come on down, you look at the answer choices, and nothing really makes sense to you, you got to keep finger scanning, because we did see grizzlies here, but we kept finger scanning and we found grizzlies in a second part here. So the correct answer is going to come from 67. Remember, if it doesn't fall in your lap, keep finger scanning for the word, because sometimes it's going to be hidden in a different area. On to 34. 34 says, according to the author, the main threat to the grizzly bear in Yellowstone is, first things first, let's go ahead and label the question. The question is a mystery question. Mystery questions, we're going to go ahead and pick a keyword. The keyword here is threat. We finger scan from the top, left to right, right to left, top to bottom, and we find the word threat. Threat, 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 threat. Keep going until you find the word threat. And I believe we found the word threat on line 74. So when we come over here, all the way from the top to the next column, threat, 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 threat. And we found the word threatened, which is basically the same thing. It says in this particular paragraph, timberland sales in the woodland area in National Forest major gold mine is threatened outside of the park. Northern corner habitat is being lost to housing sprawls, blah, 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 blah. Kind of sounds like there's houses going in here, there's gold miners in here, they're cutting woods down and stuff like that. We want to find an answer choice. It says something about people going in and wrecking animals' habitat. And gold mining, cutting trees down, and so forth is an easy Scooby-Doo for human interference, as we found on line 74. Remember, mystery questions, pick the key word. We said it was threat. Finger scan, find it, and then reword it into the correct answer. We'll move on to the last question for this video. It's practice problem number 35. 35 says, the information in the 7th paragraph, 51 through 57, is most likely meant to provide the reader with an example of. All right, so let's go ahead and find 51 to 57. Well, remember we talked about this over here. 51 through 57, we labeled that right away as we genius mapped that this is all going to be examples. Come over here and see where 57 is, all the way up here. These are all examples. And we see the word but. It says apparently squeezed into insular situation. So it's saying that we've got all these examples of these animals are being squeezed into insular. It's like insulation into a small area. Now, come over here. We know that these are examples of probably the previous topic sentence here. And the previous topic sentence talks about insular populations going extinct. Sometimes it's only temporary. Insular populations do go extinct, even when the island is protected by Congress. So even though it is protected by Congress, animals still go extinct. That's what those examples are going to show. Hey, Congress has set aside this piece of land, and animals are still going extinct. So when we come over to 35, our answer happens to be A. What happens as a result of island syndrome? Because it's examples of the previous topic sentence. There you have it. It's problems 31 through 35 in part 2, week 3, Genius Mapping homework assignment, or some people refer to this as the reading tune-up number 1. We'll see you in the next video, part number 3.